What's up, guys and gals, and welcome to a new show I call Platinum Review. I don't know about you, but getting trophies and achievements always hits that lovely dopamine button, and with an anticipated game like Kingdom Hearts 3, you bet your baby blue bonnet I was going to play it into the ground. Now, I absolutely love this game, but as I started in on trophy gathering, I found some problematic or outright infuriating parts of the game that I gotta get off my chest. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give a really short review of the game before I go into very specific points, especially with gathering trophies in mind. Now, these can be moments that make me praise the heavens and our wonderful Disney overlords for bringing us such a great game, or they can be points where I nearly snapped my controller in half like a Dark Souls game. That really did almost happen. Ask Jack. You know, I platinumed those too, and that future episode, but yeah, I retired my Dark Souls controller. It's in the Hall of Legends now. I'm also going to be picking a best and worst trophy just based off my experiences getting them. The best trophy I'm going to have to really think about, but the worst trophy I've known for quite some time. As a matter of fact, it's kind of what started this whole thing. So let's get it, like Dream Drop Distance, which kind of ended up just being like a really long prologue for this game. I like the creatures anyway. But anyway, let's drop into Kingdom Hearts 3. Let me start off with some basic praises. Even on the PS4, this game looks fantastic, despite the frame rate kind of dropping on some animations. That's less fantastic. But still, I was always amazed at how great everything looked. Now, as a lot of people have pointed out, the Kingdom Hearts story is a little convoluted. I think that's the most polite term to put it. Then again, I'm what I like to call a lore nerd. When I find something I really like, I tend to dive in head first. I get every game I can acquire, I watch any kind of movies based off of it, I watch other people talk about stuff on YouTube, I spend hours on fandom wikis. So this kind of thing's right up my alley, and I feel that smug satisfaction when people are like, oh, what, Xehanort, what? What's going on? I'm like, oh, just sit down, buddy boy. I can tell you exactly what's going on. And for me, that works. But really, what else would you expect from a combination of Final Fantasy and Disney? Final Fantasy games have some of the most convoluted plots I've ever heard. I mean, have you played Final Fantasy VII lately? It's kind of, well, my name is Sephiroth. This is my mom, except she's not my mom. She's kind of an alien. My real mom is a scientist lady who married this other, more pervy scientist, and then they injected me with alien cells. So I think that alien is my mom. And now I'm going to destroy the planet so I can become one with it. One with the destroyed planet. And also there's a vampire. My dad made him. I think he might be my stepdad. Hell, the first Final Fantasy game had convoluted time shenanigans. I'm Garland, and I'm going to send myself back in time so I can fight some warriors who can then get some stones that make me a god, and then I'm going to send myself back in time to get some... Wait a minute. But unlike Sephiroth, I'm not related to any vampire... Daddy? And then there's Disney, a movie company that always bends over backwards to make sure everybody has a happy ever after. Except for the moms. Moms never make it out very well. But seriously, a kiss helps so many princesses. Every time it's a kiss. Hell, replace kissing with stabbing somebody with a keyblade and you've basically already got Kingdom Hearts. But whatever, it's corny, chaotic, and convoluted, and I absolutely love it. As far as the gameplay goes, it's Kingdom Hearts. You go around, you explore, you meet some Disney people, it's awesome. The combat system is basically a culmination of every single thing we've done in the series, except for maybe the special commands you had in Kingdom Hearts 2. Well, I really kind of missed those. The big attraction moves and all the different links make for some pretty epic maneuvers, and considering that this is the latest game in the series and everything needs to be epic, we're ending the Xehanort saga. So everyone's bringing out their strongest moves, and I really think that the gameplay reflects that. Speaking of the attractions, for future reference, Splash Run is my absolute favorite, especially the part where it all rewinds. It's like you're making your own attraction ride. My least favorite is probably the gun one. It feels kind of slow and tedious, and all your other moves are so much faster, especially the long-distance ones. I think I spam magic more than ever in the entire series, and considering I've played every game at least twice, that's saying something. Overall, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a fantastic game, and it's probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite in the series. My other favorites are Dream Drop Distance, because I'm a sucker for games where you take care of animals, and Kingdom Hearts 2, which I feel just had a lot more going for it, especially in the final mix, where you get to fight the Organization 13 members. Something that, to this day, I have still not accomplished, because, fuck, where was all that strength during Chain of Memories, huh? It was a fantastic game from start to finish, but let's go ahead and get to the part where I yell a lot. So here, in no particular order, are 1 or 2 or 8 of the things in this game that really drag down the experience for me. The classic games. These are based off of old Game & Watch games, but with the Kingdom Hearts twist added to it. And frankly, some of these games, while keeping the aesthetic of Game & Watch, probably weren't possible back then. But then again, I'm not a programmer nowadays, or way back when Game & Watch ruled the world, so I couldn't tell you. What I can tell you is that I first encountered these games playing the Kingdom Hearts Union Key Cross _ Crossroads / X, whatever that game is called. They had a special promotion under the X-Trace, which, while writing this video, I realized that X-Trace is an X to the third power, and it's extras. Extras. Didn't realize that. Did not realize that. It's like Yin said all over again. Yin said it's Disney backwards. Under the mobile games X-Trace area, they had some of these classic Kingdom games. You could complete them and get a certain number of points if you wanted to get the special Starlight Keyblade, which I did, and it's okay, even though I don't think I ever really used it all that much, especially after I got Ever After. Because, let's be honest, the form change where you just spew lasers in every direction is pretty amazing. I use it almost exclusively until I got the Ultima weapon. Now, in the actual Kingdom Hearts 3 game, including the games that were just extras in the X-Trace, in Kingdom Hearts 3 there are 23 of them! Now, you have to play each of these games in order to get a special Keyblade and a trophy, which was fine. You only needed to get a high score, which, since the high score starts at 0, basically scoring anything will do it. But it just goes on. I never really liked the Game & Watch games. And when these were originally in X-Trace, I thought they were a nice little throwback. You know, kind of fun. Cool little thing to do to get an extra Keyblade. But having to play each and every one of them for the trophy just got so monotonous. And to be frank, that's kind of on me. I could have just scored something and then died rapidly, but I mean, I wanted to play the little games, you know? But it's kind of hard in the first levels to die, even if you're trying. Especially in that fucking chicken and the egg game that took forever to get started. I mean, seriously, can a guy just commit suicide? I'm personally not a fan of games with no goal, but these games are cute enough that I can kind of forgive them, and I appreciate the effort that the team put into them. It was just having to play all of them in a row in order to get the Keyblade. And of course, the trophy. And then there's the postcards. If you go to the Moogle shop and spend some money, chances are you'll get a postcard. You can put these in a mailbox in Twilight Town and receive a prize. The prizes are completely random and usually helpful, except that one of the Orichalcum Plus you need for the Ultima weapon is one of the prizes, and there's only one of them. That makes the chances of getting the damn thing very low, which means you're going to spend a lot of time at Moogle shops. What really pisses me off, though, is that the game didn't really go out of its way to tell you how you get these postcards. Sure, it tells you to get them from the Moogle shop, but it just says spend money. So I assumed that there was some kind of structure, that if you spent 1,000 money, you'd get a postcard, when you spent 2,000 money, you'd get a postcard, and on and on and on. But no, it's literally any money. In fact, there was a cheap trick I found by just buying one potion and leaving the shop. Chances are you'll get a postcard, and that's how I eventually got my Orichalcum Plus. It was extremely frustrating. I ended up wasting a lot of money until I figured out that there was no minimum amount you needed to spend. The postcards put a huge damper on what I thought was the best Ultima weapon quest in the entire series. The side quest to obtain the other Orichalcum Plus pieces for your Ultima weapon usually involves some amount of exploring or games mechanics you might not have looked at. It's just a boring and kind of unfair game mechanic that I think should be returned to sender. Speaking of Orichalcum Plus side quests, there's the Lucky Emblems. Lucky Emblems are Mickey Mouse heads that you find all over the different worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. With your new Gummi Phone, which is an addition that I actually kind of like, you can take pictures of various things, including the Lucky Emblems. There's a certain number of emblems in each world, and if you take pictures of enough of them, you get special prizes, including Orichalcum Plus for taking pictures of all the emblems. Now, some of these are cleverly hidden. There was one especially in Mount Olympus where the emblem was made out of some vines in a tree that I passed by 1 billion times before I finally saw it, and I was actually kind of impressed at it. Also in Olympus, there's an emblem in a far-off cloud amongst a bunch of different buildings. I wonder what god lives there. But in any case, when I found it, I was blown away. I thought it looked beautiful, and it was just a really cool secret to find. I wish they were all like that, and some of them are. Some of them I was genuinely impressed with myself for figuring out. Others were just so bland that I couldn't find them, and eventually had to go to the internet to find that one fucking emblem in Twilight Town that I didn't see on the door, and Goofy kept talking about it, but there's one right next to it. You'd think there'd be some distance. Oh yeah, and Goofy and Donald are as helpful as ever. When they're not pointing out ingredients, they're sensing the easiest to find Lucky Emblems. Except for the one that I couldn't find. I just thought the game was glitching or something, and that they were mentioning in the one I already found. Still, you have to get them all, not just the Orihauken Plus that you need for the Ultima weapon and its trophy, but also a trophy all its own for finding all the lucky emblems. Overall, finding the lucky emblems was sometimes fun, but usually just unimpressive. And then there's the cooking. My God, the cooking! Now let me set the record straight. In real life, I love cooking, and Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar movie. It's got Patton Oswalt, it's got cooking, it's got that critic who is hands down one of my favorite characters of all time. It's an excellent movie. The Ratatouille minigame in Kingdom Hearts 3, on the other hand, can fuck right off. When Remy showed up, I was looking forward to it. I actually have a couple of the Cooking Mama video games, and they're fun, but this was entirely different. These minigames range from insultingly easy, like the cutting one, to wreck the room difficult with the eggs. My God, the fucking eggs! I nearly threw myself out the window. I was so desperate to escape this minigame, I was ready to crack my own skull so I didn't have to crack any more eggs. Every single attempt, I either ran out of time, or it was too soft, or it was too hard. Damn fucking straight it's too hard! I was expecting something silly and fun. Instead, all I got were a bunch of migraines. So much so that Remy and Scrooge McDuck couldn't even help the situation. Then there's the ingredients you need to make for the dishes. Now, for the most part, ingredients aren't hard to come by. In fact, Donald and Goofy will scream their heads off every time you come even remotely close to some parsley. Aside from an incident where I didn't have enough garlic and I couldn't find it, and everybody said to go to the toy box, and it was like one place that it would spawn, and still it wasn't spawning. By the way, go to San Francisco. That's where garlic is, every time. Anyway, most of the ingredients were hard to find. Until you get to the Flantastic 7, and frankly, that's a whole nother discussion right there. Basically, after you defeat a world, a flan-shaped heartless will show up, each with its own little crown that has a nice little piece of fruit. And defeating their mini-games will get you the ingredients you need, and if you score high enough, you'll get not only a ton of that ingredient, but you'll also get a skill. Now, these mini-games are fun, for the most part. We'll get to the minigame bullshit later. But the problem is you need these Flantastic 7 ingredients for the hardest dishes to make on the special menu. And you need to complete these dishes in order to get the Master Chef. See Remy in a little helmet. I think it'd be adorable. Can anybody smell a sequel? Chefs in Space! Which is all fun and games until Guilty Spark shows up and tries to murder everybody in the universe. Sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, these super difficult dishes are required to make the Master Chef trophy. Not only are these difficult, but they use the Flantastic 7 ingredients, which, like I said, are in short supply unless you want to play and play and play and play their mini-games. Because every single attempt at these extremely unfairly difficult little mini-games, you consume an ingredient. So you might be like me, where you save before going to the bistro, then you go in and use them all up and blah, 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 but that takes so long. I also found out that if you just exit to the title screen without closing the game, then it saves over your progress, and you lose that ingredient anyway. Now, eventually I was able to do it. I mean, I had to get the Platinum Trophy. It's the title of the show, guys. But it was only after hours of agonizing mini-games, trying to do the Flantastic 7s to get their ingredients, and then trying to make the actual dishes at the bistro. To be fair, maybe some of it is my fault. I tend to lack a lot of patience, just like my complaints with the classic games. But come on! That egg minigame is so poorly explained, just like the postcards, and it's just difficult to boot. It was so difficult, even wearing equipment that makes the minigames theoretically easier. Overall, I think the big idea behind it was kinda cool, but the execution was terrible, so much so that even Remy couldn't save it. And my God, the condescending sad look he gives every single time you fail. I'm sorry, Remy, I'm not an expert chef like you. Isn't this your fault? And then there's one of the biggest problems I had with the game overall. I've talked about the classic Kingdom Game & Watch series minigames, as well as the Flantastic 7 minigames and the cooking minigames, but those are maybe, like, what, 10% of the minigames in this game? Kingdom Hearts 3 has too many minigames. Too many. Too much. There's the sledding minigame that has treasures you have to get that are hidden in the most out-of-the-way locations that I spent hours and hours tracking down. There's a video game Sora gets trapped in where you fight with robots, even though that's what you've been doing the entire level. There's the dancing minigame in the Tangled World, another game I feel is poorly explained. And then there's Data Scraper, which are basically 2 obstacle courses that you have to go through in the Big Hero 6 world. Now you might say that's not a lot to get up in arms about, which if you're just playing the normal game, it really isn't, because you only have to do it once and it really doesn't matter how well you do in them. But if you're hunting for trophies, it's an entirely different matter. These trophies aren't too bad. They were challenging, but I always felt that the goal was realistic. But still, when you combine all of these different mini-games and all of the hours of effort it takes to get the scores that you need for the trophies, it's just so much time you're spending not playing Kingdom Hearts. You know, Kingdom Hearts with the battling and the exploration. I didn't get into this series for a shitty rhythm game. If anyone from Square Enix is watching this, I'm sorry. I'm sure a lot of work went into these, but they just weren't for me. But at least most of those mini-games were fun and actually related to something you do in the actual game. Unlike the 100 Acre Wood, Jesus Christ, I've never been this pissed off at Pooh Bear. Now, 100 Acre Wood used to be where all the mini-games resided in the other games. Well, most of them anyway. That's pretty much their entire function. In this 100 Acre Wood, there's 3 games, which are technically just one game. In the 100 Acre Wood, you have to play the equivalent of a casual mobile game, which can be fun, but again, that's not Kingdom Hearts. If I wanted to play a casual mobile game, I've got a few on my phone, but I'm not on the toilet. I'm trying to get involved in the story and have fun. The entire not bust a move minigame here drove me crazy, especially since the flower version of it is the only way to get the honey ingredient, which you need for some of the most advanced recipes in the game. And we've already gone over how difficult those are and how many ingredients they tend to waste when you will inevitably fail. Also, and this doesn't have anything to do with the trophies, it just kind of pisses me off. The 100 Acre Wood is included in the world count in this game. When I heard there were 9 worlds, I was kind of skeptical, because that's basically how many there were in Dream Drop Distance, a game on the 3DS. I was hoping for a blowout of like 12 worlds. I thought that would be amazing, because let's face it, half of Kingdom Hearts is just getting to go to different Disney worlds. That's what I done there. And meeting up and fighting alongside different characters from our favorite Disney movies. I mean, I was raised with Winnie the Pooh, and it's nice to see all these characters again, except for the Heffalump that just suddenly showed up. What the fuck is that? I thought Heffalumps and Woozles were the things you're supposed to be scared of, but here's this just little purple Heffalump, and everybody just loves the little guy. Everybody just loves him. I find him kind of annoying, and I don't know why he's there. Where the fuck did Tiny Heffalump come in? In any case, I'm just disappointed that the 100 Acre Wood is included in the world count. Granted, the worlds in this game are a lot more expansive, and that's something I truly appreciate. There's actually people in the town now, and that's awesome. But I'm still a little disappointed at this, and that doesn't help me like the 100 Acre Wood any better. Sorry, Pooh, Winnie, Mr. Pooh. You and your friends are charming as always, but I cannot stand this minigame. And now for a part of the episode I like to call The Gummi Ship Parts Suck, and The Gummi Ship Parts Are Awesome. In addition to trophies related directly to using the Gummi Ship, it also has parts and other trophies that require materials such as the Orichalcum Plus. Finding the crystals for Gummi Ship parts and blueprints, as well as synthesis materials, can be frustrating. Like the chests in the actual worlds, they're scattered all over the place, and sometimes are easily missed. Even with a radar, the crystals seem to respawn on it, so you can never really tell if you've already gone to it already, unless you fly to that marker, only to find a blue crystal where you really wanted a new purple one. In addition, the heartless enemies you face are barely differentiated with a little star rating. Problem is, if you're trying to hunt down all the different Heartless encounters in order to get 100% completeness, I don't think it related to any of the other trophies aside from a boss encounter, most of the time you don't know if you've encountered a new enemy until you face them down and see if you got anything new from it. If it's just experience, you've already fought them and wasted your time. And trust me, you want to beef up your ship as much as you can and find all of the different parts that you need in order to face down a final Gummi Ship boss that is part of a trophy. That secret boss is Schwarzgeist, apparently an enemy from a game called Einhander. Never heard of it. And maybe it's just me, but that thing was hard. I had my best weapon gummies, and it was still just slowly chiseling away at an enemy that constantly attacks you. And throughout the entire fight, it does not let up. When I thought I had beaten it and it turned into another form, I was about ready to cry. But thankfully I pulled through and was able to get that trophy. One of the last ones I needed for the Platinum. But despite everything that sucks, the Gummi Ship is also awesome in this game. People like to bitch about the Gummi Ship sections, but I've always liked them, even back in Kingdom Hearts 1. Frankly, they make for better Star Fox games than Star Fox has made in the past few years. Or decade. Yeah, just keep remaking the same game, guys. That's gonna be awesome. Then again, when it is different, you usually have to run around in various stupid missions, so who knows. The point is, I've always liked the Gummi Ships, and making it into a more open world environment rather than just a linear path makes it pretty awesome. As much as I bitch about finding crystals, I still enjoyed exploring around and finding them. I mean, some part of you has to enjoy the frustration and monotony you sometimes have to engage in order to get a certain trophy. Otherwise, you're just not going to get a lot of them. Yeah, in the overworld, the Gummi Ship doesn't handle very well, but it handles well in the battles, which is what counts. By the end of the game, I was rocking battles out in my Chungus ship and my Kabuto special, because it looks like a beetle. The beetle with guns. I also made my own magic school bus because the building music constantly reminded me of the opening theme from that show.
Cruising on down Main Street, you're relaxed and feeling good. Next thing that you know, you'll see it.
I also made two little teeny ships named Frizz and Liz, which accompany a magic school bus for obvious reasons. Schwarzgeist and tedium aside, overall I like the Gummi Ship, and I think it's the best mechanics in the series. On the subject of ships, man, these transitions really write themselves, huh? The Pirates of the Caribbean world is one of my favorite worlds in any Kingdom Hearts game. The whole thing reminds me of Assassin's Creed 4, aka Assassin's Creed Pirate Simulator. If anyone from Ubisoft is watching, please just make a Pirates game. We don't care about the Assassins anymore, but everybody loved Assassin's Creed 4. Just make pirate games, please. But until Ubisoft finally decides to make a game like that, we've still got this world. You've got your own ship to explore the Caribbean with, finding islands, engaging in skirmishes, and just having a damn good time. In order to level up your ship, though, you have to dock and find some white crabs. Yes, white crabs, which, if you've watched the movies, you know Tia Dalma, who is actually Calypso, turns into a bunch of white crabs, and now you have to find them in order to level up your ship. Getting your ship to its max level is actually a trophy all of its own. Fortunately, the crabs are everywhere, and you even get some for fighting various Heartless ships that you find on the ocean. Granted, this is also the world that has the token swim mechanics, which aren't bad. I like being able to spin the key to get places faster, but to be honest, the whole thing just felt restricting. All your best magic moves can't be used underwater. They turn into different things. It made my arrow magic, which I used heavily in this game, a fairly useless whirlpool. But you find crabs and needed synthesis materials with enemies underwater, so we better get cracking. Swimming. You can also find crabs on land in some places, which is hilarious. Walking up to a bunch of barrels and they all start suddenly walking away from you is one of my favorite experiences in the whole world. That is the Pirates world, not the real world. If it was like my favorite experience in the whole world, it'd be kinda sad. There is only one step to the crab cycle, and it is sadness. Well, at least I still have my trusty crab friends. Oh, I see. So it's mutiny then. Last but not least, I'm really disappointed at the lack of secret bosses in this game. On my road to getting the platinum, I of course made the Ultima weapon, and I was excited. In fact, I didn't mind gathering all the synthesis materials you need to synthesize every single item you can in order to get a trophy of its own, but I was raring to fight some super difficult enemies with my new awesome weapon, which not only fires lasers, but they're lasers made of swords. Sword lasers. My god. I guess you can count the Schwarzgeist as a secret boss, but that's in the Gummi Ship. Like I said, that's not really Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay. I want to hit stuff with my Keyblade. I'm the Keyblade Master, and that's what I do. There is one secret boss, and while the battle is actually kind of fun, it's just not enough to write home about. There's no, Sephiroth encounter, like in 1 and 2. I wanted a battle that would push me to my limits, and I just didn't get it. Defeating the one secret boss, which isn't really that hidden, its portal is just out in the middle of nowhere in the Keyblade Graveyard, it wasn't really that difficult. Challenging, yeah, but just not the kind of fight I was looking for. I beat it in one go. I was looking for something to push me to my limits, even when I had my maxed out level, and the best weapons and the best equipment. Which, by the way, you need all of those things if you want to get the trophies for the platinum. I'm just disappointed that none of these trophies really involve a true test of skill against a powerful enemy. I mean, maybe you could have spent a little less time on 1 or 2 of the mini-games to make another boss? Maybe? I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but consider it. Kingdom Hearts 4? Maybe? And that brings us to the ending segment of this episode, the best and the worst. In future episodes I might have some different awards, but hey, this is a new thing, so just bear with me. For best trophy, there's actually kind of a tie, but one is actually better. I was considering putting the Ultima Weapon trophy on here because I had a good time trying to find all the synthesis ingredients. It really did feel like getting all the ingredients spanned the entire game. Unfortunately, the involvement of that fucking postcard bullshit kinda dragged this one down. It really pissed me off. It's kind of the same problem that I have with casual mobile games. There's just too much emphasis on luck and a random number generator. So the winner this time around actually goes to leveling up your ship in the Caribbean, which some people might say, oh, fuck you, because I've seen some pretty negative reactions to the Caribbean world, but I really don't get where the hate comes from. I had a really good time sailing on the high seas and fighting heartless ships. True, the swimming mechanics suck, but that's not really involved in making your ship a better ship. You can still find tons of crabs to level up your ship, not only on land but by fighting enemies. You never even have to touch the water. Sailing around the Caribbean and literally launching your ship at enemies is just too good to pass up, and I really enjoyed it. And then, as you might have guessed, my candidate for worst trophy in the game, hands down, goes to the Master Chef trophy.
It's brown.
You have to cook every fucking item on the menu and special menu, expending ingredients all the way, and if you get just a good, it's not good enough. You have to get excellent on everything. By the time I finished the last egg cracking recipe, I was done. I'd had to restart the game hundreds of times in order to try it again. Well, it and other recipes, but I swear in my memory it feels like it was just that one minigame. It overshadowed all the others so much that it made me hate the entire Bistro minigame, and that's a shame because, like everything else in Kingdom Hearts 3, you can tell there was a lot of effort and care put into it. It breaks my heart to so harshly criticize an aspect of a game that I really like that clearly took forever to make. I mean, we've all been there, waiting for this game to come out for years. Especially for me, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the only game besides Kingdom Hearts 3 that I got on day one. I even went to the midnight release for Kingdom Hearts 3, or more of the 9 p.m. release for Kingdom Hearts 3. GameStop doesn't stay open that late. Point being, the cookie minigames were a great idea, I feel, just marred by poor execution. So that makes having to clear each and every one of them perfectly the worst trophy of the game. Oh, and just for the record, in case anyone was wondering, the last trophy I got was getting an A rank on both the Data Scraper minigames. They were fun, fast-paced obstacle courses, but like the other minigames, they kind of outstay their welcome. Overall, I'm glad I got the trophies for this game. It helped me to squeeze every little bit out of this experience that I possibly could. Everything I complained about here is pretty minor in the scheme of things, and really wouldn't have been a problem if I wasn't going for the Platinum. Even with the little annoyances thrown in, this entire journey to the Platinum was, well, magical. Anyway, this has been the first episode of Platinum Review. Let me know what you think, including if there's any trophy categories you think I should include in future episodes. Just leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time on the ZaineFrame.